Welcome back to another episode of Hidden Gems here on Horror Fiend TV. Now, I don't know how many of you fiends are actually dance parents, but well, our competition kind of begins in January and it ends in July. And my little one, well, her competition just recently ended about 2 weeks ago. And as I'm going through the motions of thinking and seeing everything that these kids go through as far as prepping up for a dance competition, whether it's ballet, jazz, lyrical, hip hop, but the fact seeing them prepare for this competition, all the practice they have to go through, started making me wonder about film that had ballet in it. Now, when we think about horror film that has ballet in it, the first thing we think about is Suspiria, the original or the remake. But we often forget about one film, even though this film garnered a lot of praise for what it did. But we all seem to forget the 2010 film Black Swan.
I had the craziest dream last night about a girl who was turned into a swan. But her prince falls for the wrong girl and she kills herself.
Nobody's after you.
Please believe me. Sweet girl.
Black Swan was directed by Darren Aronofsky, and well, the premise of this film is we have a dance company, and their main dancer, Beth, played by Winonaryder, is kind of forced into retirement. And here comes a competition where Nina, played by Natalie Portman, wins the role. But she soon finds the pressure begins to build, and a young upstart, Lily, played by Mila Kunis, is right behind her to the point where she thinks that, well, Lily is targeting her for the role. Now, to kind of go back to what I said at the beginning, yes, this film was garnering a lot of praise, but for me, it's been 15 years and this is one of the least talked about films. And for me, that's why I think it deserves to be a hidden gem. So I'm here to unearth it and tell you why this film is a gem in itself. Now, Natalie Portman's portrayal of Nina was so great that, think about this, she actually won an Oscar for Best Actress for a horror film. Now, I know Jamie Lee Curtis recently won one for Halloween, but Natalie Portman did it for a horror film. But once again, it's not talked about. And this is another reason why we need to talk about this film. So, Nina's character in this film is a perfectionist. Ballet and the dance company is her life to the point where she lives like an isolationist life. All she does is practice, practice, practice. Go home, practice, practice, practice. Go to bed, wake up to practice, practice, practice. This is all she knows. This is her entire life. So when given the opportunity for this role in this production called Swan Lake, she does her best to try to perfect everything she could possibly do to get this role. Now, the problem with Nina is that she doesn't have that charm and charisma. She doesn't have that character where she can break out basically into open. She's so secluded to herself that everything she does when she makes a mistake is followed with I'm sorry. I'm sorry. To the point that, well, this is one of the reasons where the guy who actually is the one who is in charge of this dance company sees a weakness in Nina. Thomas Leroy, played by Vincent Castle, is such a prick in this film. He is a guy with power. Think about it, with power. And the fact that they think Nina got the role because she slept with him. So that already tells you the persona that he is. Now, he is very demanding on Nina to the point where he actually, let's be honest, he commits sexual assault. He sexually harasses. But at the same time, he is trying to break her out of this shell that she's in order for her to understand that, well, Nina, you play a great white swan, but you have Lily over here who plays a perfect black swan. The two personas are polar opposites of one another. Nina is very timid. She is very quiet. She keeps to herself. All she wants to do is perfect everything she does, but the thing with her is that she doesn't have any of the emotional role, anything that make the audience believe the character she's trying to portray. Now, here you have Lily play Mila Kunis, who does have that sexual nature in her character. And this is a sexual nature that Thomas wants Nina to explore in order for her to fully understand what it is like to be the both white and black swan. But there's another character in this film. Another character, well, being a dance dad, there are some dance moms who push their kids as much as they can. Sometimes to the point where they're living through their own kids. Now, listen, when we have our kids playing sports, some of us weren't able to play those sports. We couldn't afford to play those sports. So we give our kids the opportunity to play those sports or go into dance because we've never had the opportunity. Sometimes we have a bad habit of living through our children and wanting them to have these accomplishments as if we had these accomplishments as well. Now, Nina's mom is Erica Sayers, played by the great Barbara Hershey, who also in this film she's on as the Queen, was a dance mom who at age 28 had to retire and stop dancing because she had Nina. Now, this is another persona that adds more pressure to Nina to the point where, well, Erica wants to live through Nina. And whenever Nina doesn't do what Erica says, well, Nina is kind of screwed because her mom becomes very mean, becomes very. She tried to lock up her daughter. There's a scene where she actually removes the doorknob from the door because, as much as she wanted her daughter to take this role, she sees how the pressure in this role is crumbling her daughter, and this dark persona begins to slowly come out. Now, this dark persona is what the Black Swan is supposed to be, the opposite of what Nina's character truly is. So we start seeing this downward spiral to the point where you kind of wonder if the character Lily exists. Now, if you haven't watched this film, I'm not going to go into depth as far as what I'm trying to say that, but are sequences in this film where you wonder if the Lily character is actually real or if she's just something where it's a figment of the imagination of Nina that she needs in order to continue to push herself. Now, this film is a psychological horror, but it is also a body horror to some degree. There are scenes in this film that I was like, oh shit, because there's one scene in particular which is everything about and anytime there's like bones crunching or something, it always gets me. But we get to see what Nina wants to become and what she eventually becomes, and everything she does along the way to become this character. Now, this is why this film is such a hidden gem for me, and it should be watched once again because you had great performances in this film. This film doesn't have many flaws. I mean, it's a slow burn, which I love slow burns, but it is a slow burn. It doesn't have that many flaws. Each character that is in this film portrays their role perfectly. Mila Kunis playing Lily was so well because we know Mila Kunis, wow, she could play an adorable character like in Forgetting Sarah Marshall. She could actually play a good villain like in that movie Extract. So Mila Kunis is capable of playing both characters, but she played this character so well as Lily that you kind of wanted to know what her motives were, even though we get glimpses of these motives. But once again, we still wonder whether she really existed or not. And this is what great storytelling does. This is what great acting does, where you draw yourself into the character, you start wondering what the character's motives are. But then when you get thrown a curveball where you start thinking, hold up, does this character really exist? Even to after watching the movie once again today, I'm sitting there like, all right, was Lily real at all? Because of the fact that people, well, just watch the film and let me know what you think of the Lily character. So as the opening night draws near, we start seeing Nina really succumb to this pressure, really succumb to these acts of body horror that she goes through. And to the point where she actually goes and seeks out the advice of Beth, the character played by Winona Ryder. Now, I wish we had more Winona Ryder in this film. When she does appear in a film, it is captivating. I mean, it's Winona Ryder. She's such a tremendous actress. I grew up watching her. And It's to the point where you wanted more of her, but her scenes were done so well that you were satisfied when you got to see Winona Ryder's character Beth. So this film is definitely one. It's probably not for everyone, but I would definitely kick back. It's currently streaming on Hulu and Peacock. Watch this film because there are a lot of aspects of this film that I truly love: cinematography, the lighting, the acting, the storytelling, the way this film goes through different chapters, and each chapter brings more of the character Nina out into the open that you want to see. At the same time, you feel bad for this character because this is her life. The dance company is her life. Getting this role is her life. And she's willing to bust her ass to the point where the pressure gets to her to you see her crying in certain instances. So I mean, listen, Natalie Portman is such a great actress. And when she cries in the film, it is so believable and it's so captivating to watch. But yeah, this film is definitely a hidden gem. Go watch it. It's 2010, but this film aged well. And the performances by these lovely ladies, lovely women, Winona Ryder, Mila Kunis, Natalie Portman, Barbara Hershey, such great acting. And you're captivated by this film that you have to finish watching. Now, like I said, it is a slow burn, so it might not be for everybody. So yes, watch this film, Black Swan 2010, currently streaming on Hulu and Peacock. Great performance. Once again, a forgotten film. Why? Because we don't think about this film at all when we think about psychological body horror as well as film that has to do with ballet, with dance, with art. So this is a film that is a hidden gem that must be watched. Yes, I loved it. Damn, Natalie Portman, Mila Kunis, they killed it in this film. But till next time, this is GR Horror Fiend TV, Hidden Gems, Black Swan 2010. Don't forget, like, subscribe, share, and we have more coming your way for Hidden Gems. And next Tuesday, we will go into the Night Welcomes Horror as we will talk about Dark Night of the Scarecrow. Till then, peace.